Again, I don't want to spoil it, but and sometimes great guys meet ugly ends.
Very excited to be chatting with you about Twisted Metal, which is coming to Peacock on July 27th. What a crazy, wild, fun show. You play Agent Stone. For all intents and purposes, the show's villain, we'll say. Excuse me. But I'm curious if you approach the character as sort of like wholly villainous, because it seems that everybody's got a backstory, they are their why.
I did not. And it was a product of reading the first three scripts and then having, the guru, Michael Jonathan Smith, who you might hear other people call MJ. I just call him Michael. But having a great conversation with Michael, really getting a sense of how he saw the world, which I already had a damn good idea after reading the first three scripts. But no, I did not ever approach the character, even in the very first, when you first meet Stone and he deals with quiet and loud in the way that he does. He really believes that he's on the right side of law and that everything that he's doing, and throughout the series, there's different speeches or witticisms or rants that he goes on where he always identifies himself front and center as the bringer of justice, the bringer of order. His only purpose is to end chaos, but he does it with an iron fist. I mean, he goes after everybody that he considers a violator. And there's one speech where it's like, he doesn't care what they do. If somebody's a petty criminal, if somebody's a graffiti artist, if even the most minor violation, he comes down with severe punishment. And he does let a few people kind of off along the way, but but he ends up using them, and for his own sort of, I think malevolent is a better word than villainous.
Okay.
Because I think the guy is definitely capable, like there's a scene, and I won't give it away.
Sure.
There's a scene where this older guy is just mannerly shining my boots. And he says something that triggers me. And you just see like this flash of wrath. And this guy couldn't be more innocent, doing a more menial, kind of a generous task for Stone. And yet you see he could snap. He could easily snap.
Yeah.
And which he does do periodically. But no, how many did you see?
I've seen about half the show. I've seen half the show so far.
So you know what happens in the first one.
Yeah.
I mean, and Richard is a great guy. So, again, I don't want to spoil it, but and sometimes great guys meet ugly ends. No, but and Richard he's that guy. What energy. I don't know if you've ever interviewed him.
I haven't, but man, I would love to.
That guy has got crazy energy and is a hilarious storyteller. So if you can, because he comes back. He comes back.
Okay.
Yeah, he comes back. I'm not going to say how or in what form.
Sure.
But his presence comes back.
That I think I was really I don't think I knew that he was going to be in the show when I saw him return on the first episode, and I saw him and I was like, oh, and I was like really excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Richard came up and was like, dude, I'm such a big fan of your work. And I was like, okay, but working with Ridley Scott on The Counselor, because he's a drug courier. I don't know if you saw that movie. He's a drug courier, but he got to work with Ridley Scott, and that's all I did was just like inundate him with questions about working with Ridley Scott.
That's awesome.
And he was like, I can't believe you know that movie, man. Nobody saw that movie. I'm like, seen the movie about 20 times. But yeah, great energy. But you know what? Stephanie was terrific, and Anthony, and everybody was really fun. Samoa Joe was a ton of fun. And I never worked with Will, because Joe was always there as Sweet Tooth. But very funny actor.
Agreed.
Actor. Joe's funny.
The whole cast, you guys are all absolutely incredible. The show is so much fun. And Thomas, I really, really appreciate you taking time to chat with me today.
Of course, man.
I appreciate you taking time to chat about Twisted Metal. Gosh, it's coming to Peacock on
July 27th.
Yeah, because my brain just like slipped for a second there. I was trying to spit it out. July 27th. So exciting. Man, based on the video game. Did you play the video game when you were younger?
I didn't have a PlayStation when I was growing up, but I had friends that did. And so I've logged many an hour hanging out on couches, eating too much pizza, drinking too much soda, playing video games.
That is 100% the thing right there. The video game party, Mountain Dew and pizza, and just like going to town, each other's cars up. And the show is such a great representation of that fun that you have playing the game.
Good.
I'm curious. You've got some great castmates and you spend a lot of time in the car with them. And I'm curious who you think would be the best road trip partner, best road trip shotgun rider, who would be elite with the snacks, who knows the tunes.
Oh, this is such a great question. I mean, honestly, I feel like Michael Jonathan Smith, our showrunner, MJ, would be a great road trip partner. He's so funny. I mean, his sensibilities all over this show. That like dumb gallows humor, that's MJ. And like the writing staff in general was just phenomenal for our show. It was like a bunch of people that are either nerds or love nerds, right? Like, so people that love the show, but also like loved the game. And like, I don't know. I just feel like, honestly, like our writing staff, I feel like I would put everybody in a passenger van and then like let different people like do music, let different people sit up front, let different people choose snacks. Like, yeah, I would say my perfect road trip partner from our show would be the entire writing staff.
Just the whole writing staff on a bus.
Yeah. Everybody in a passenger van. Yeah.
I love it. Maybe go to Vegas, catch a show.
Yeah, I 100% would love to buy them all margaritas. That seems like a great idea.
I really love how the show does not pull any punches. I mean, it is full on genre action filmmaking. I mean, it is blood and it is car chases and it is like bullets galore and it's so crazy. What was the experience of filming that? I know you guys filmed in New Orleans.
It was the same as the show, like fun, ridiculous, unhinged. There were times where we were just like losing our minds laughing, or just there was a moment, I think I was, it was myself and Mike Mitchell were like dying, like just like mobbed sweating, I'm laying on the concrete. They put a bag of ice down on the concrete so it wouldn't be so hot. It was just like, it was absolutely like all parts of it were nonsense, crazy, fun. We had a blast. Like, I love New Orleans. I love that city. It definitely has a piece of my heart forever. I think it will always be in my life now. And working with people that are based in New Orleans, a lot of our crew is based in New Orleans, was phenomenal. And I just think like Louisiana in general was a really great place to shoot, but New Orleans is definitely special.
That's awesome. Well, the look of it is incredible. The set and all that stuff is amazing. When I spoke with Thomas, he had just so many kind things to say about working with Richard. And I wanted to ask you about that because you work with Richard probably the most of anyone. So I wanted to ask about that experience because he's just fantastic in the show.
Well, first of all, I thought you were going to say he had kind things about me.
So I'm really mad that you were his favorite. He said you were his favorite and that nobody is as cool as you. He said that. Just don't watch back the.
Well, but I'll take it. Richard's so awesome. Richard's like, he's truly like, he's such a gifted actor. He's so real. He's so honest. I think he makes people better when he's around them. You know, I think he's just like a cool human being. He's just one of those cool human beings, you know?
Yeah.
And to me, working with him was such a gift because he's such an open, immediately connected actor. And he really is just like giving it his all the time. He's super vulnerable and like just open. And that's the kind of stuff that I love too, you know? So it was phenomenal working with him.
That's awesome to hear. Well, listen, you kick so much ass is quiet. I really appreciate you taking time to chat today. Thank you very much, Stephanie. Twisted Metal, man, what a killer series. It's coming to Peacock on July 27th. 10 episodes of just firepower and high-speed chases, man. It is so, so cool. You play just the iconic Sweet Tooth, rocking that clown mask. And I wanted to ask, is it liberating to get to kind of do that performance behind a mask and just like really be in the character, you know, without having to do all of the like extra stuff, you know, that Will takes on as far as the voice?
Without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, it's kind of creative license, you know, once the mask goes on, you know, you can make things as chaotic or crazy as possible, and it's expected. So yeah, I definitely had a lot of fun with that. And it's probably the best way to describe it, because you know, once we got on set, you know, the cameras are rolling and the mask goes on, then, you know, definitely it makes it easier to project yourself into the mind of Sweet Tooth.
What about that big sword that Sweet Tooth wields? Was that like a heavy material or
yeah, it was a huge machete, crafted by our fine artisans on set, and it's a little heavy, weight's a little bit forward, but you know, it's good for chopping, you know, and yeah, it was awesome swinging that around and having some fun with it on set.
I imagine there's that scene where you like toss it through the casino and it lands right near Anthony John Doe, and I was just like, dude, that had to have been heavy to toss. They thought it was a lot heavier, that it'd be a problem for me to toss, but we managed to get it across the room and not take off Anthony's head.
Yeah.
Did you get to do any like real life driving? I know that you guys filmed in New Orleans, I think it was.
Yes.
Is that right? Did you get to do any like real life driving in the ice cream truck?
Surprisingly, yes. I didn't think they would. I thought that was, I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. The insurance is going to be hot, but yeah, they did let me drive the truck a lot. And like you know, on some ramps and stuff. So I was really I was happy with the process, because I got to do a lot more than I thought they would allow me to do. And you know, I've always enjoyed a more physical performance, so being able to do that was always awesome.
I for some reason I thought this was the first time you ever did any real kind of stunt work.
Yeah, I've done some other smaller role stunt work, but yeah. This one, you know, I'm actually not liable if anything goes bad, so I was really happy to give it a shot. I'm not the sun guy. It was somebody else. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what you're talking about. Were you? I'm going to assume. Did you play Twisted Metal? Like, were you a fan of those games?
Absolutely. I mean, I come on. If you own a PlayStation, I mean, it was like one of the only good launch titles. Like, I mean, I think you can't. You did not play Twisted Metal. That's the thing that I like. Everybody's like, did you play Twisted Metal? I said, I owned a PlayStation. Like, I think it actually came with it at certain points. You know, it's like, yeah. I mean, you know, from one, I think, you know, two, I think Black being my favorite, but I think I've played every Twisted Metal game in every incarnation. And, you know, it's always fun. It's always fun to get on the couch and everybody gather around and see who can blow up who off the Eiffel Tower.
Yes. That was the thing. That was the best thing about Twisted Metal. I love about the show is like, is I'm excited to be able to like watch it with friends and like with my own son and everything, like, because that was the fun thing about Twisted Metal back in the day, was like getting like a Twisted Metal party and having everybody over and playing and like all sitting on the couch and playing together. Like that was such an incredible experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's something that's like really overlooked is, you know, whenever you ask people, did you play Twisted Metal? I'm like, listen, if you owned a PlayStation, you know, like
you played Twisted Metal. Well, Joe, listen, I really appreciate you taking time to chat today. The show is awesome. Your performance of Sweet Tooth is so much fun, and I'm super stoked for more people to get to see it so I can talk about it with others.
Awesome.
Thank you, Joe. Have a great rest of your day, sir.